The following segment is sponsored by Footsteps for Africa. Our lives can get extremely busy, but it's important to never forget to serve others. Austin is here to tell us about Footsteps for Africa and how we can improve living conditions. Austin, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You are doing so much good. Talk to us about the mission of Footsteps for Africa.
Sure. Our mission is to serve orphans and vulnerable children in Zimbabwe and Namibia. And these are the most desperately needy kids. They don't have educational opportunities and basic necessities of life. So we will build school infrastructure and then have other programs off of that, like sustainable food and water initiatives, to make sure that these kids can get an education and have their basic needs met.
And you are helping so many children. What inspired you to start Footsteps for Africa?
You know, I lived in Zimbabwe and Namibia for several years and studied with some tribes in northern Namibia. And everywhere I went, I saw these populations of children that just weren't getting the aid that they needed in order to take the next step to get the education and to have safe living conditions. You know, a lot of aid gets to the continent of Africa, but unfortunately, because of corruption and inefficiency, it doesn't reach a lot of these most desperately needy communities of children. So our goal is to make sure that we serve these kids and critically make sure that we have a physical presence every step of the way to make sure that that aid gets there and it doesn't get stifled along the process.
And I keep saying this, you are doing so much good, and I truly mean that. You completed a project this year. Tell us about that.
We did. This project was extra meaningful for me because these children were in incredibly dire living conditions, trying to get an education. So these kids live in northern Namibia, some of the most poorest villages in all of the country, and they walk sometimes 6 hours round trip to get to school. And some kids live even further than that, not logistically possible to get to school, so they live on the school grounds. But because there's no bunkhouses or hostels, they have to live in shacks made of sticks and scrap metal in order to be able to attend school. So these kids are living on a dirt floor as young as 8, and they have to worry about snakes crawling in their shacks every night. They're bathing outside, and so this project was helping all of these kids. And so we built a fully stocked kitchen with indoor showers, indoor plumbing, a full dining hall that serves as a community center to not only serve the kids, but they're amazing teachers who also live in shacks on the ground. So it was, and hostels to make sure that these kids could live in a safe structure. So COVID delayed it a few years, but we got it done, and just so happy that these kids now and their staff and their community can have these wonderful structures.
And this is not your last project. You have so many more projects to come.
We do.
What if someone is looking at you and is like, oh, I want to help? How can someone help?
Well, you know, as you know, a very small amount of resources can go a long way for a lot of these desperately needy communities of children. And so monetary donations up to $10 can help these girls who are dealing with period shaming. We can give them washable sanitary pads so that they understand how to about their menstruation cycles. They can attend school and not be ashamed. $100 will help kids have school supplies and school uniforms, which they must have for school. So that is the biggest need for us, because I have teams on the ground that really help to execute and do needs assessments and make sure that these kids get what they need. But monetary donations are kind of what does it.
And where can we go for more information?
Absolutely. You go to footstepsforafrica.com. We have lists of what our needs are and on our target donations.
You've made it so easy to help others. Austin, thank you again for everything you're doing, and thank you for coming in and talking to us about it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.